Hello everyone, this is Logan59XP here for a bit of an impromptu stream here, as I didn't know this was going to be a thing really, but it is, so we're doing it. And because, you know, hey, it's happening at 3 p.m. as opposed to 6 a.m., so why not? It'll be kind of neat, I guess, but it's been a little while since I've done a stream, and because of that, I'm kind of thrown off. Like, of course, the classic thing where the mic doesn't actually work, even though it totally should. So you have to go in the settings and make sure that it's set to the mic and not something else. So I literally said, you know, hey guys, this is, and then like it wouldn't show up, so I had to click it again. But anyways, point is, we're here, even though no one's probably gonna watch this because this isn't really that important in the grand scheme of things. But I figured, hey, it's a direct. A.m. so I don't have to stay up all night for this, because if this was happening at like 6 a.m. I wouldn't bother. This isn't big enough to justify me staying up this, but because it's happening now, I figured, why not? Plus, I am genuinely curious about what we're gonna recent directs. I know they brought it up, which I thought was very interesting, because they normally don't bring up stuff like that, but they did, so that's kind of neat. So, yeah, a lot has happened since my last stream in early July, which was, of course, the return of the Smash streams, which was a lot of fun. And I have been considering doing another one of those for those of you that are interested. Because I know there were people that were like, hey, yeah, I'll totally come back if you do another one. So, you know, I might do another one sometime soon, because why not? It's been over a month. I didn't want to do one, you know, too long, too fast, because I didn't want to, like, burn myself out on it. Because I've had that happen before, where I've done too many of them in like a span. But anyways, also I just realized that the stream is set to 59.94, not 60. I forgot to change that back because, yeah, I've been messing with a lot of stuff in OBS since the last stream, including discovering why anytime I would do like streams that had like PS5 or Series X stuff in it, why every once in a while the image would like stutter or judder, and that was really annoying because it shouldn't be doing that. And I figured out why. It's because the PS5 and Series X, for whatever reason, even though it's 2024, output at 59.94 FPS like it's still the old days of the CRT. And I know the reason why 59.94 exists. It has to do with the invention of color and being backwards compatible with black and white back in the day. I know the whole story. There's a great video, by the way, from Filmmaker IQ on that entire journey towards like color TV. It's actually a really good video. Go check him out in general. Filmmaker IQ has a lot of great videos on his channel. He hasn't done as many videos in recent years, but there's a lot. But he's got a big backlog of stuff you can watch, and there's a lot of good stuff on there about the history of like film and television. It's really cool, and that's one video. He did a video on like the history of color TV and the various companies competing for, you know, the industry standard and whatnot, and it's a pretty cool video. Cool guy, definitely check him out. Anyways, but yeah, so basically, yeah, the stream is supposed to be 60 PS5 and Series X, and seeing how that goes. Also, I have better internet now. I used to be 500 down, 20 up. Now I have gigabit up and down, which is pretty awesome, which means now I can stream at 4K 60 without breaking a sweat. Unfortunately, because of YouTube's limitations with latency, I can't really do 4K and have a decent latency, which is why this stream is still 1440p. But in the future, when they add low latency for 4K streaming, you bet I'm going to switch over to 4K streaming. Because I want to stream at 4K. Even if nobody watches in 4K, I don't care. I want 4K streams. I want that higher bitrate, even if no one will benefit from it. Except for me. But that's a whole other conversation. Again, there's a lot of stuff I could be talking about. Like, for example, I actually have a lot to say in regards to, like, Marvel stuff. I mean, Marvel's been very much on the back burner for me lately. Over the last, like, I'd say like 8 to 9 months, it's very much been on the back burner. I basically haven't paid attention to it at all. I still haven't caught up on some of the shows and things, but of course the recent Deadpool and Wolverine has reinvigorated kind of my interest in the MCU, so I'm thinking of doing a video on like kind of where I am with the MCU at some point, but that, again, that's a whole other conversation for another day. But alrighty, here we go. By the way, this probably shouldn't surprise anyone, but when they announced this, they of course had to put out the obligatory disclaimer that every single event they do until it actually gets announced is going to have, where it's like, by the way, the Switch 2 is not going to be here. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be here, but hold on. Let me get the audio set up. There we go. So the building where the museum is going to be is where I don't know if I wasn't paying attention there, but he may have said, I know he said the Hanafura cards. I'm not sure if that's the original location from like the 1880s or if that's just a location where they were making them back in the day, but obviously they had some old pictures there from a long time ago. Now, that's pretty cool. They got different sections. You have the Famicom and NES. Both represented, Famicom and NES. I know they're the same thing, but like, you know, for different regions. Because this is in Japan, right? But I'm glad that they're recognizing the international stuff as well. So, Famicom and NES. I saw the Super Nintendo or Super Famicom controller. Yeah, we got the Wii, DS. We got a bunch of screens, got a bunch of game boxes. The original and that iconic blue. That's pretty neat. You better believe if I ever end up going to Japan at some point, I'm going to be going here. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So you can see the Switch section, right? And notice how there's like a section of stuff that hasn't been filled in yet. That's probably nothing, but it's just kind of interesting. It's like, well, I mean, obviously the Switch isn't done just yet as much as everyone wants it to be done at this point, with everyone begging and pleading for the Switch 2, but it still has like another, you know, 6 to 9 months in front of it as the primary system, but again, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, I think this looks pretty cool, actually. I like how they have the different sections with the big controllers and stuff, and they got all the boxes and the screens. It's pretty neat. Yeah, and again, I think it's really cool that they acknowledge both the Famicom and NES, even though this is a Japan museum. But they obviously know that people from around the world are going to come to see this, so they have to acknowledge the international version as well. Yeah, the control deck, as it was called. And then, of course, there's the famous story. It was called the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it was packaged with Rob originally because of the video game crash of '83, and how people wouldn't buy video game consoles anymore. It's a tale as old as time. There's 1,000 YouTube videos from 10+ years ago that talk about that kind of stuff. But, yeah. So, yeah, they got the American NES boxes and the Japan Famicom boxes. So that's cool. And then, yeah, they right up there at the front, they got the different models. It'd be cool if they included, like, the different variants, like the Sharp Famicom and stuff like that. But I get that those are, like, third-party variants. I mean, they were officially licensed, of course. They're not knockoffs, but they're not, like, officially made by Nintendo, like, of course, the Famicom and NES. It'd be cool if they had, like, the NES V2, you know, and, like, the Famicom V2 that, like, not that many people know about. So yeah, they got their different like exercise stuff there. The different versions of the block. Sure, why not, I guess. It hasn't changed in a long time though. As you can see, there's a lot, like they've had like that same core design for a very long time. Yeah, the evolution of Mario, the evolution of Zelda, that's neat. Yeah, this is something I know a lot of people are curious about, is were they going to include stuff from, like, you know, their, you know, prior period, right? Because, again, Nintendo's been around since the 1880s. They were not a video game company until, like, the 70s. So they've made a lot of stuff. Yeah, look at that. They made guns. That's probably, like, a BB gun or whatever, but, like, still, yeah. Yeah, board games, the Hanafura cards, the Pacemaker, I'm sure, is in there. That's a famous one. They made, like, pacemakers or whatever. I wonder if they acknowledge the Love Hotels. I don't know if they acknowledge that anywhere in here. Yeah, the light gun. Actually, the NES Zapper that we have here, for the Famicom in Japan, it actually was a revolver. Yeah, the Pong consoles. Anyone that's watched the AVGN episode will be familiar with the Color TV game. Are those cameras way there on the left? Yeah, the different incarnations of the Nintendo logo. The Nintendo logo has not changed, like the font, like the actual font has not changed in like 50-something years. But obviously the colors have changed. Like now we have like the red and white logo, and during the Iwata era we had like the gray logo, and then you go back to like, you know, the old, you know, the like the like, you know, 90s and 80s, you had like the red logo, but a different red logo than the one we have now.
ご覧の通り、1階の中央は巨大なモニターになっています。こんな感じで皆さんもこのモニターの上に乗って百人一首を遊んでいただくことができます。
Okay, so it's a different card
ス
game.
マートフォンと組み合わせて遊びますよ。このようにミュージアムの1階のフロアはインタラクティブに体験ができるエリアになっているんです。過去に任天堂が作ってきた製品を今の時代に蘇らせるとどんな遊びになるか。そんなテーマで8つの体験を作ってみました。ミュージアムに入るときに渡されるこの入館証にコインが入ってるんですが、
Alright, because in Japan their names are, the last name is
今日は8つある
first.
体験の中から3つを紹介しましょう。さあ、こちらは小さな部屋がいくつか並んでいますね。どんな体験ができるのでしょう。ここは1968年に発売
The Ultra Machine.
ウルトラマシンが体験できるんです。ウルトラマシンは
Look at that JPEG quality. They probably legit just found that off of Google, like unironically. It's so like JPEG'd.
私が入社したのは改訂版のウルトラマシンデラックスが発売される年でした。少しだけ仕上げに関われました。その頃は社内にプレイルームというのがあって、昼休みにはアーケードゲームやウルトラマシンを遊んでいました。こちらに並んだ部屋は当時の家庭を再現しています。部屋に置かれているものが違うので、お好みの部屋を選んでください。では、
Different like time capsule rooms, basically. Whoa, I just saw the mic peak right there. Apologies for that.
では早速打ってみましょう。あ、欲しい。
That's not, is that a real TV?
部屋の中にあるいろんなものにボールが当たるといろんなリアクションがあります。
I mean, granted, those are obviously, you know, soft balls. They're not really going to hurt the TV or anything if you hit it, but it just kind of feels weird.
ザッパー&スコープ S
Yeah, the zapper, the super scope.
任天堂は1970年代にレーザークレイというボーリング場
Again, I guarantee you this picture they probably just ripped off of like Google. It's not as JPEG'd as the other picture, but like it's not that great quality. I know it's an old picture, so there's obviously inherent limitations with like the film and stuff, but you could tell that was clearly like a fairly like a low-res JPEG of some kind.
光線銃は2種類ありますね。片手で素早く撃てるザッパー、そして照準がついたスーパースコ
So
ー
one thing that's kind of interesting about this is that
プ。このどちらかを選べば
again, the zapper as we know it didn't exist in Japan to my knowledge. I don't think it did. Because again, I think the zapper in Japan was like a straight up like revolver looking thing that would obviously never have flown in the US. And yet they have the zapper here. I mean, maybe like nowadays they wouldn't be allowed to use like revolver like things and something like this. Maybe that's why. Or maybe they released the zapper in Japan at some point and I just don't remember. Because the zapper that they're using right now is the one with like the orange color. But the orange one,
どんどん撃って
no, the orange one came out later. Oh, whatever. I'm not from the NES era, so all my knowledge of it is from videos, and most of which are videos I saw like a decade ago. I used to watch a lot of like retro-focused like videos like a decade ago, so I still like I have a big like kind of, you know, database built up from that, but I haven't really watched videos, you know, talking about retro stuff on a regular basis in a very long time, so.
こちらではファミコンから Wii に至るまでさまざまなゲームをプレイできます。でもちょっと何か違いますよ
Let's see, does the control, do those big controllers actually work?
超巨大です。 てゲームを遊んでみましょう。では今日はファミコンのスーパーマリオブラザーズをミュージアムのスタッフさんと一緒にプレイしてみます。よろしく。スタッフさんが A ボタンのジャンプ、私が十字ボタンで移動を担当します。2人で息を合わせてクリアしましょう。
300 IQ Wizard says, I had that scope, forgot what it is called. Are you talking about the Super Scope? Like the big bazooka looking thing? Yeah, because that one came out, that was the, like, the Zapper equivalent for like the SNES, but it wasn't nearly as popular, and it only had like 1 or 2 games, I think, that supported it. Like I think there's a game called like Yoshi's Safari. That's like one that supports it. That might even be the main one. I'm not entirely sure. But I know that the Super Scope was not nearly as successful or iconic as... Everyone knows the Zapper, right? And the Zapper was supported in multiple games, but of course the most famous, of course, being Duck Hunt, the game that it basically came with. But, yeah. That's kind of cool, though. They got, like, these big controllers, and they actually work. Because, like, they had the ones earlier where they were hanging above, like, all the game boxes and stuff. Hey, look, Wii Fit! They got Wii Fit, giant Wii remotes. That's kind of cool, actually. I remember that one. See that one on the third screen right there where you get like the marble into the hole? I remember that one being like really challenging back in the day sometimes. And I would like hold myself against like a desk. You can make your own cards. That's kind of neat. Of course, you gotta have merch. Gotta have merch. I think we're gonna go through this again. There's some parts I want to like get a closer look at, since it looks like it's about to wrap up. I mean, this is a short event. They said this was only gonna be like 10 minutes. Honestly, I'm surprised they even did a direct for this. This could have easily just been like a video they put up, and that would have been perfectly fine, but I get it. The museum is kind of a big deal for them. It does look neat. Again, I mean, one thing on my like bucket list is I definitely want to go to Japan at least once. And you better believe if that ever happens, I'm gonna go to this place, assuming it's still around by then. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't. We'd have to go like bankrupt for it to not be there anymore, I guess. What the fuck is that in the corner? I actually genuinely don't know who that is. I like never use Steam. Most of the games I play on PC are through Game Pass these days, so I have a Steam account, but I don't really use it that much, and I have no idea who that person honestly was. Obviously, it was someone that's probably changed their name for the memes because it said like Trump 2024 or whatever. But anyway, so that was kind of neat. Let's go ahead and let's go through it again. Let's go through it again. And I want to actually look at specifically like that section that showed like all the different like consoles and stuff. I want to look at that a little more. Oh, so okay, so it is built on the original factory because yeah, I saw when I was like messing around with OBS, yeah, he mentioned that like, oh, this is built something about the Honda Fruit car. I was like, oh, is this like the original location of the factory, or is it just one of the factories? No, it is on the site of where the original ones were, way back in the day. Yeah, it's an old picture right there. So yeah, this part is really cool. I really like this. So obviously we didn't see every little bit of it, but obviously, yeah, he showed off specifically like the NES Famicom section. We saw that pretty closely. And then we have a Game Boy section, and then over here was, what was it? Yeah, we got the Super Famicom, Super NES section. And you can see that even though the only controller they have up is the Super Famicom version with the colored buttons, whereas of course we here in the US, we got the purple and gray. Although in Europe they got the colored buttons as well, even though it was still called the Super Nintendo. So Japan was Super Famicom with colored buttons. Us in the US was Super Nintendo with the purple buttons, or purple and gray, and then in Europe and Australia it was Super Nintendo with the rainbow buttons, or the colored buttons. So it's kind of like three different there's kind of three different versions there in a way. Whereas the NES in the US and in Europe was the same system from an aesthetics perspective. And then obviously the Famicom is completely different, which is why they have both of them up there. But you can see the Super Nintendo logo. It is there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it is there right below the Super Famicom logo on the background. I'm sure there's a section for, like, funny enough, I don't see a section for the Wii U in here, but I'm sure it's in here, obviously, just off screen. But yeah, and I mentioned this, how you can see for the Switch section how there's, like, empty gaps that haven't been filled in yet, and some of the screens are turned off. That's obviously because the console is still current and it hasn't been finished yet, even though we all know we're on the cusp of it. We all know it's not gonna be that much longer, most likely. I mean, again, that's a whole conversation. I still haven't done a Switch 2 video. I've been putting that off for a while. And part of the reason for that is that what can I possibly add to the conversation that hasn't already been said? It feels like everything that has been said about the Switch 2 has been said at this point. Like, what can I add that justifies me making a whole video on it? Whether it's a discussion or a proper actual video with proper editing that I haven't done in like 2 years. Like, it just kind of feels like there's not much point, even though I know I'm going to end up doing something at some point. Maybe we'll end up waiting until like the day before, you know, maybe like they'll announce, hey, we're going to have an announcement tomorrow at 10 a.m. like they did last time around, and then I'll rush out like a quick 30-minute discussion with Ethan or something. I don't know. But yeah, we're kind of at that point where it's like I don't really even think it's worth doing a Switch 2 video for the most part. So I've been trying to like craft a Switch 2 video that's different than most of them. Like, I was gonna have like a part of the video I was gonna do was gonna be more focused on like the specs. But we already know what the specs are at this point. It's the T239. It's going to be based on Ampere. It's going to have some Lovelace stuff, but it's going to be mostly Ampere. It's going to have ray tracing. It's going to have DLSS. It's going to have 12 gigs of RAM. We know the specs at this point. There's nothing much to really add to that. So I'm kind of been like thinking, okay, what's something I could say about the Switch 2 or even the Switch 2 era in general? Like, what I want to see from Nintendo just in general. That's both hardware and software related, or even just outside of that, even just business related. Like, what stuff I want to see from them in the next generation. I've been thinking of making the video more like that, more centered around, basically like what do I want to see in general from them next generation, as opposed to being specifically about like the system itself to make it more interesting. But again, that's a whole other thing for another time. So let's continue here. Yeah, so I can see the original 2017 Switch box. I can see what I think is the 2019 like refresh with the bigger battery. What I think is a yellow box. It's hard to tell from this far away and at this resolution. If this was a 4K video, maybe I could tell better, but only 1080p, it's kind of hard to tell. I think there is a yellow Switch Lite box, and then of course you can see the red Switch OLED box right there. So all of the Switch models are represented on that table. Okay, so yeah, there's a... Oh, wait, look! Virtual Boy! The Virtual Boy is represented. You can see it way back there, right? Right next to the GameCube controller. I mean, they have to have it, right? I mean, yeah, it was a famous failure in basically every way, but, like, it's a part of their history. It'd be weird for it to not have at least a small section. It will probably be a very small section because it had like literally 20 games or whatever. Like, I forget, like, you know, in the AVGN video, right, where he's like, you see this is all of them, this is every single game ever released. It's like 15 games or whatever. Like, so there's not that many, but they gotta have it, right? And it's cool they made like a big controller for it, and they didn't just give it like a little, oh yeah, here's like the small corner of like 2 shelves, and that's the, no, they gave it a proper controller because it was a proper system. It deserves to have a proper kind of inclusion here, which I think is kind of neat. But yes, we got the N64, we got the GameCube, we got the Wii. Again, no Wii U, but I'm sure it's in there. If the Virtual Boy gets a controller on the wall, then there's no way that the Wii U doesn't have like a gamepad, and it's just not in any of the footage we can see. Yeah, then we got the original DS. Like, how many people even had the original DS? I didn't. But then again, the original DS was a little before my time. By the time that, you know, I was, you know, getting stuff like that, you know, the DS Lite was out. And I didn't even get a DS Lite. I got, my first DS was a DSi, but my brother got a DS Lite. And I still have that DSi to this day, even though all the 3DSs I got I have since sold long ago. But I still have my original DSi from Christmas 2009. It still works. Even still has all my old flip notes on it from a long time ago. And man, some of those are genuinely top tier cringe. They're every time I watch one of them, I'm just like, oh my god, why? I mean, of course, I'm never gonna delete them. They're you know, they're a part of my, you know, history and all that stuff. I'm never gonna get rid of them. But man, those things are even just a couple of years after I made them, I remember looking back at them and being like, man, these are brutal. I'm thinking maybe one day I'll like show them on like a stream or something, just to like, so you can all bask in the cringe with me or whatever. But yeah, and there's also some like I downloaded from way back in the day that are like very of the time. Like there's this one I have of like Mario being chased by like a Justin Bieber or something. Like that tells you how dated that shows you how of the times that is, you know, 2000, like, you know, 9, 10, 11, when everyone hated Justin Bieber or whatever, when he was a big deal back in the day. Anyway, that's again, it's a whole other conversation here from this. But yeah, the point is, yeah, this all looks pretty neat. I wonder if I can recognize any of the boxes from this far away. I probably won't be able to. I doubt it. Okay, so you can see the glass. Okay, hold on. I just realized something. So for the N64, you can see they have the different, like they have like the blue and the orange. Like they have the Hey You Pikachu one. I can see they have the Hey You Pikachu one. I'm sure they have all the different color variants for like all the systems or whatever. But you can see for the DS over there, I can see what I think is an original DS. I mean, of course, there's the big hanging one, but like down there in that little glass box or whatever, you can see what I think is an original DS on like the far left. And then I think you can see like a DS Lite. I can see a DSi XL in there. Again, I'm sure all of the variants are in there. It'd be weird if they weren't. Maybe not, like, obviously not every single color, but like they'll have all the variants. So, you know, DS, DS Lite, DSi, DSi XL. They're all going to be there. Now, hold on a second. I just realized something. Go back to the N64 section real quick. I just realized something. Is the 64DD in there? I am not sure if it is. I hope it is, because that should absolutely be included in the N64 section. Yes, the 64DD only came out in Japan, and it was a big flop, and there were barely any games for it, but it's part of the history. You know, like, you gotta include it, right? Like, I'm sure it's in there, I just can't tell from the quality of the video. Actually, right above, okay, so you see my mouse cursor, right? You see this N64? You see that black thing back there? I wonder if that is the 64DD, or if that's just a regular N64. It might be just a regular N64. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. I'm sure the 64DD is in there somewhere. In one of these glass cases. It has to be. It has to be. I just can't tell from this far away. Hold on, I can recognize something. I mean, of course this is going to be included, because they can't not. It's like the biggest game on like all these old handhelds, but like, You see those boxes right here? That is black, because that's Reshiram. And I'm sure, and yeah, that's white with Zekrom, and then I'm guessing that's black and white too. I think that's Heart Gold, Soul Silver. You know, I mean, of course, all the Pokemon games are gonna be there. They can't not be there, right? But it's like the biggest game. Oh yes, then we have the 3DS, the original 3DS from 2011. My brother actually had that original 3DS. He didn't get it when it first came out, but he got it in like for Christmas in 2011. Yeah, he had like the original blue, because they had different blue variants of the original 3DS, but that's like the classic. Like that's the classic OG, like I forget what it's called, Aqua Blue, Cosmic Blue. Actually, no, I think those are the names of the different other blues. I forget what the name of this specific blue is, but like, you know, the launch blue, the iconic blue, right? He had that one, and then I had the flame red 3DS. We got a bit of a zoom in here. We got Mother 2, or as it's known here, Earthbound, of course, the original Pilot Wings. I don't remember what the name of this game is, but I know what that game is. And we have Donkey Kong Country, and then that's Mario Picross, I think. Did those ever come out over here? I'm not even sure, actually. Wave Race 64, Mario 64, obviously. Star Fox, I think that's Kirby 64. The Crystal Shards, or whatever it's called. But yeah, so I think most of the consoles are represented in this like video, except the Wii U. Poor Wii U. Again, I'm sure it has a section. There's no way it doesn't. We just don't see it in this stream at all. We see like the NES, the Super NES, the N64, the GameCube, the Game Boy, the Virtual Boy, even, you know, the 3DS, like the DS, like the Wii, like all of them are in here except the Wii U. But again, I'm sure the Wii U is in there. It's just off screen. There's no way they don't have a Wii U section, right? It may be their least successful console, but it's still a part of their history they can't ignore. And they don't ignore it, because when they showed that section where they had all the Mario games, they showed Super Mario 3D World, and they had the gamepad as like the icon, so they obviously acknowledged that it was a Wii U game. So I'm sure there's a Wii U section where they have like a gamepad or whatever above it. We just don't see it, unfortunately. Oh, they have the European ones as well. I didn't even realize that. The European ones are obviously very similar to the American counterparts, but they are a little different. Sometimes they're quite a bit different. Oh, look, they have a thing that says sales volume. Japan, the Americas, Europe, something like that. They have like a split down of like, you know, okay, that's neat. So I just realized something. So all of those, you know, screens they have of the games, right? Now, that's not using NSO, because it doesn't have the border and it doesn't have like the icon in the corner. So, and also the image quality when they really zoom in on those looks pretty low. So I'm guessing that all of those screens are hooked up to like actual Famicoms and NESs and stuff. Like this isn't like, you know, NSO emulation or anything. Like those are all like from the actual systems themselves, just going off of kind of like the image quality, but that's just from what it looks like to me. Wait, hold on. They made a Twister? That's a Twister, Matt. Oh yeah, that is Twister. I guess they must. Yeah. Look, it says Twister right there. You can barely read it because it's kind of blurry because of the camera moving, but that's neat. They made a the power pad. I remember there was a video on that. Yeah, Wii Fit, of course. Oh yeah, and I saw Ring Fit. Yeah, Ring Fit was in there as well, which is kind of like the spiritual success. I've never played Ring Fit. I've heard actually good things about it, but I just haven't felt like it because it's a lot of money to spend on something like that at this point. But I did like Wii Fit a lot back in the day. Played a ton of Wii Fit, so yeah, I know it's again not the same game or anything. It's a much different game, but it's in that similar, like, you know, fitness thing. Anyway, so yeah, this is the block thing that they showed earlier, and I mentioned this, but like you can see that like the block has not changed since, I believe that's a screenshot of New Super Mario Bros. So the question mark block has not changed in a substantial capacity since 2006. Yeah, 2006. That's when New Super Mario Bros. Came out. It's kind of odd that they have the flood boxes in there. I'm not sure why. Those are not question mark boxes at all, so I don't know why those are in there. They have nothing to do with any of the other boxes that they have in this little like timeline here, so I'm not sure why they include the flood boxes. My guess is that's because there are no traditional boxes in Sunshine. Like the traditional question mark box, like that is not a thing in Sunshine at all. So I'm guessing that's why they included it in there, is because, hey, we need to have a box for Sunshine, and Sunshine didn't have a traditional box, so we'll just throw in the flood box, even though it has nothing to do with the other boxes.
アンテナブロックのデザインがどのように進化してきた
But what the heck was that thing on the side there? It said like Nintendo and U. I have no idea what that is. Yeah, New Super Mario Bros. Yeah, that was the first one where they introduced this. Yeah, this is the thing where they have all the Mario games, and you can see they got the controller and stuff. And then yeah, when you get to 3D World, look, see it has the gamepad. So like, obviously, yeah, they acknowledge that it's a Wii U game, of course. So yeah, all of this stuff. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not super well versed on like the pre-video game Nintendo stuff too much. I mean, obviously I mentioned the Love Hotels and the Pacemakers. Those are the two ones I know, and of course the Hanafura cards going way back to the beginning. But I mean, everything else though, I'm not that well versed on. So a lot of the stuff in here is stuff I don't even really know about. And there's a lot of board games. They did a lot of board games back in the day. I mean, obviously you saw the Twister thing. I mean, Twister's not a board game, but you know, they did a lot of, you know, board games, like, you know, those kind of, like they did games before they did video games. Some of them are original, some of them are like, you know, licensed. Like again, the Twister thing. Obviously Twister is licensed from, I actually don't know who owns Twister, but you know, obviously Twister is owned by like, you know, Hasbro, Mattel, or whatever. So like they licensed from them for release in Japan, I'm guessing, or something. Yeah, they got a stroller. Yeah, they have like the gun, which is most assuredly not a real gun, because I'm pretty sure guns are like illegal in Japan or something. Or if they're not illegal, they're like heavily restricted or whatever. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure guns are like illegal in Japan. But so that's obviously like a BB gun or whatever. But obviously it looks pretty dang real. But again, they had the revolver, which you can also see right there. And that, again, was what they used to use as at least the original Zapper in Japan. Again, and they may have gotten like the American counterpart later. I'm not entirely sure. But the original light gun, the original Zapper on the Famicom in Japan, was a straight up revolver.
多くの皆さんが知らない任天堂がビデオゲームを
Oh, hold on, I just realized something. So you can see how it says, you know, 19 like 60s, 70s, 80s in the background. They have the different variations of the logo. So you can see like the Iwata era logo is in like the 2000s section, like, you know, the gray logo. Then they have like the then they have like the Switch era logo that came out in like 2016, 2017, way over there. But there's like nothing in that section right now. At least, I mean, granted, Miyamoto is obviously standing where that section is, so it's kind of hard to tell. Maybe there is stuff there, but it kind of looks like there's nothing in that section, which is kind of weird. I mean, I know that the entire purpose of this section is to be like, this is what Nintendo used to make before they made video games. I know that's the main purpose of it, but it's kind of odd how they have like the logo progression, which is cool. And you can see that, again, like I said earlier, like the logo has not substantially changed in like 50 years. Like obviously the colors have changed, but the actual font, the iconic font, I mean, look, you can see like this is like, I'm guessing the 60s or 70s or whatever, way over here where they have like this blue one and green one and red one, but it's that font, it's the iconic font, right? It's been around for like 40, 50 years, and they've never changed the font. I mean, it'd be insane for them to try and change. I mean, could you imagine if like Sega changed their font or Capcom changed their font to something different? That'd be insane, right? Like those logos are so iconic. they'd be crazy to change it. And they probably won't, because again, they'd be nuts to. But like, yeah, like actually, yeah, and yeah, Sega has also kind of an interesting history too. I don't know as much about Sega's history as Nintendo's, but I know that Sega started as like a gambling, like casino type thing. Like I think they made machines in like Hawaii or something or whatever. I'm not entirely sure about that, but yeah. Point is, like, yeah, the logo is not changed like in as far as the font is concerned in like 50 years, and it will probably never change because it's so iconic and synonymous with the company at this point. Again, like with Capcom or Sega, those logos will probably be the same for like forever. But you do see like that the kind of like original logo that I think people have seen before, like these three these three I want to say letters, but that's probably not the right word. But you know, it like in Japanese, like those three symbols, I think people are familiar with because they actually still use that on some aspects of their branding. Like for example, I have a Japanese GameCube controller box from 2014 when Smash Wii U first came out, and it's the white Smash 4 GameCube controller, which I still have and still use as my main GameCube controller, like 9 years later or whatever. And on the back of the box, they have like the Nintendo logo we know today, but they also have those three symbols. These three symbols right here on the back of that box. So they still use it, or at least they were still using it like almost 10 years ago. It feels weird to say 10 years ago. I mean, I've mentioned this in streams this year, but like, yeah, Smash 4 is going to be 10 years old, and like, actually, no, Smash 3DS is going to be 10 years old next month. Oh man, we're gonna do some kind of stream for that, because you know Smash 4 means a lot to me. I've said that before, and I will keep saying it because is it the best Smash game? No, but is it the one that's had the biggest impact on me? Absolutely. I hold that game. It has a very high nostalgia value. That era has very high nostalgia value for me. It's probably the most nostalgic era of anything for me at the moment. But again, that's a whole other conversation that I could talk about in its own dedicated discussion video. Honestly, it deserves it, I feel. But anyways, so point is, yeah, this is all their old stuff. That toys, strollers, cards, board games, all that kind of stuff. You can see like these like lights. Are these like cameras or just lights or something? I'm not entirely sure. But you do see the Game Boy is in there, which is kind of interesting, because the Game Boy feels weird to be putting in a section like that. Because they have the color TV game, and that makes sense because, well, that is a video game console, obviously. It's like their first, okay, their first real console was the Famicom. But their first actual console of some kind was, of course, the color TV game, you know, back when everyone was making Pong machines. So it makes sense to include that in here because, again, that's from before because Nintendo did not become the company we know now until like the Famicom and NES. Really. So it makes sense to include that in that section, but it's kind of weird to include the Game Boy in there because the Game Boy's from when, you know, they were, you know, a big deal. So it kind of feels weird to throw that in there. But again, maybe they're going to put more modern stuff in there because, of course, they have a section for the 2000s and like 2010s in there. You can see it doesn't have anything in it yet. I'm sure they'll add stuff down the line. Obviously, the museum is not set in stone. Hold on, that is Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. It's like a licensed product. It's a clock. You have a copy machine. I think they showed this copy machine in like that room they showed later on. You have the stroller. A closer look at like the guns and stuff as well. But yeah, Disney board game. See, again, they did licensed products as well back then. Is that Othello? No, that's chess. That's chess. It might have an Othello in there. I wouldn't be surprised, because Othello was a thing in Japan, I think. Yeah, the light gun. Again, the light gun originally was a revolver in Japan. Hey, Antonia, welcome to the stream.
私が入社した
we've already watched this one way through. I'm just kind of going back and pausing and like, looking and talking about stuff because, why not, right?
ユニークな製品作りを続けてきたことがわかります。このようにミュージアムの2階では任天堂の過去の製品をたくさん展示しています。
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and,
遊びがどのように
is the next section the one that talks about, like, that room?
巨大なもの
Yeah, so this place. So there's not a ton to see in this part. Obviously, we have the Mario pillars, but then we have again what he mentioned about like a different card game, not the Hanafura card game, but a different card game.
このモニターの上に乗って百人一首を
And apparently, there's some kind of like phone interactivity you can do. Apparently,
このように
I wonder if that's going to be available in English.
体験ができる
I feel like they should know that like people are gonna come to this from around the world. You have to have like English options in your app. I'm sure they will, but
ミュージアムに入るときに渡され
I'm
る
just saying.
入館証にコインが入る
Yeah, the pass.
体験にはそのコインを使います。
Are they all gonna be Mario, or are they gonna have different characters on? Like, I'm sure they'll have like a pass that has like the old like Link sprite and stuff, or an old Samus sprite. I'm sure they'll have like dozens, if not hundreds, of different card variants with different characters on them. But are they all gonna be like pixel? Are they all gonna be like 8, 16-bit characters, or are they gonna have like more modern stuff as well?
理解しましょう。さあ、こ
So
ち
yeah,
ら
these are the rooms they showed. Like,
ねどんな体験ができるのでしょう
they。have like some of their old stuff in it. I guess they're supposed to be like timepieces or whatever.
発売されたウルトラマシンが体験できるんです。
Yeah, this is the JPEG I mentioned earlier. I mean, look at it. It's so incredibly like JPEG. I guarantee you they ripped this off of like Google. They just like typed in Ultra Machine, Nintendo, or whatever, and they were like, okay, there's a picture. Let's use it.
が発売される年でした。少しだけ仕上げに関われました。その頃は社内にプレイルームというのがあって、昼休みにはアーケードゲームやウルトラマシンを遊んでいました。こちらに並んだ部屋は当時の家庭を再現し
Yeah, they're supposed to be like time capsules, basically.
お好みの部屋を選んでください。
Some of them have their old stuff in it. Some of them have more modern stuff. Obviously, you saw they had like a Mario thing in there. And yeah, in this section,
マシンが置かれているのが
yeah, they got this, and it has like they got an old TV, or at least a recreation of an old TV. I have no idea if that's actually a functional old TV or not. It'd be kind of weird if it was, but I don't know. And yeah, they got the other copier thing or the printer or whatever that we got. But then again, we got more modern stuff. Like obviously we got the Pikmin. It's obviously a modern thing. We got like the spinning bottles or whatever that say Mario and Luigi on it because reasons, I don't know. So yeah, that's a thing.
いろんな
That's another JPEG, yeah. And this is like a more modern thing. Some like gun game or whatever. They showed that. Not much really to say about that. It's pretty self-explanatory.
スタッフさんが
So yeah, this is the thing, yeah, where they're talking about, yeah, like the big life-size controllers that actually work. For some reason, the preview, like down here, where it's just white, I'm not sure why it's just white. It like really shouldn't be. So yeah, you can see, yeah, they got Famicom, they got, yeah, big N64 controller, you got Wiimotes over there.
ますよね。そうです。
I wonder if they got a giant gamepad.
このコントローラーを2人で共有
Giant GameCube controller.
遊んでみましょう。
They better have a giant GameCube controller.
スーパーマリオブラザーズをミュージアムのスタッフさんと一緒にプレイしてみます。よろしく。スタッフさんが
So yeah, you can like two people can like try and like play the game at the same time. One over there, one over there. So yeah, that's neat.
Wii のゲームを
So yeah, this is the part where they were showing. Okay, so hold on. So yeah, we have Wii. So yeah, this is all Wii Fit. Like these three right here, these are all Wii Fit. Yeah, that's the marble game. That's the flying. Actually, no. This is from Wii Sports. This is Wii Fit. This is actually this might be Wii Play. This might be Wii Play like Motion, which I never played Wii Play Motion. I only had the first Wii Play. So I that's probably Wii Play Motion because that doesn't look like the first Wii Play, but it has like this. And that's from Wii Play. So this is probably Wii Play Motion, which I've never played. This is Wii Sports Resort, 100%. And then that's, yeah, Wii Fit or Wii Fit Plus. Either one of them. I don't know why it wouldn't just be Wii Fit, but Wii Fit Plus is literally just Wii Fit, but better. There's no reason to not... There's no reason to play Wii Fit when Wii Fit Plus exists, pretty much. I don't think there's anything that the original Wii Fit has that Plus doesn't have. Plus is literally basically DLC for Wii Fit. Before they did DLC, you know, so it was like a re-release, you know. Kind of like, you know, Persona, right? You know, Persona 5 Royal, and, you know, Persona 4 and Golden, you know, it's like same game, more stuff, you know. That's basically what Wii Fit Plus was. But anyway. And then, yeah, we have Super Famicom, we have, I'm not entirely sure what that game is. But you want to know something I do recognize? You notice the dialogue down here and this thing on the side? I think this might actually be NSO. This might be NSO, actually. And then, yeah, Super Famicom controllers. Yeah, I hope they have a big GameCube controller. That definitely needs to be a thing. Again, maybe there is one. Again, they didn't show a Wii U section with all the boxes and stuff, but we know that's got to be there. So yeah, I think that's basically about it. We pretty much went over everything. So yeah, it's obviously this is in Japan, so if you're not in Japan, then this doesn't really mean anything to most people. But yeah, it's cool. I think it's cool that it's a thing. And again, whenever I end up going to Japan at some point, I'm definitely gonna end up going here. No way I'm not gonna, but yeah, it's neat. It'd be cool if they had one of these in the US, though. And maybe down the line we will get one in the US. But then again, they're still in the process of slowly opening up just the regular store. Because, you know, we have the Nintendo New York store, right? That's been around for a very long time. And then a few years ago, they opened up a store in, like, Kyoto. And I think they're opening one in Tokyo now. And then now they're going to be opening one in San Francisco. So they're slowly opening up more. I mean, the stores aren't that important. But they are slowly opening up more stores. So maybe that's a sign that eventually we'll get something like this. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll get this at some point. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense that it's in Japan, obviously. If it's gonna be anywhere, it's gonna be in Japan. But like, it'd be cool if we had something like this over here as well, so we didn't have to go to Japan to see it. But hey, what are you gonna do? So let's see this section one more time. So yeah, we only see that side of it, but there's a whole back side we're not seeing, and I guarantee you that's where the Wii U is. Also, the Game & Watch. The Game & Watch I haven't seen in here at all. But the Game & Watch is their first handheld. I mean, it wasn't a quote-unquote true handheld in the way that the Game Boy was, but it was their first handheld. So so it would make sense that that would get a section. It probably does. Again, it's probably just off-screen. Or maybe it's got its own little, like, thing somewhere. I don't know. But again, it's very interesting that they'll be like, oh yeah, here's the Virtual Boy tucked away up here, but we won't have the gamepad. Like, why? Why is the gamepad not visible? I wonder what this is. Actually, the Wii U's might be in here. Because I can see... Because obviously that's the Wii section back there. This whole back section that you can't see, that's the Wii section. The Wii U section might be right next to it, actually. I don't know. But the Wii section is back here. And you can see the white Wii, the black Wii, and you can see that the family edition, like, blue Wii. I remember when those came out. You can see the box for it as well. And then we have these two black somethings right here. One of these might be a Wii U, but I also don't see a gamepad. But again, it's hard to tell at this resolution. There might be a gamepad there, there might not. Like, there's this black thing right here. This might be the gamepad. I don't know. I can't tell. But then again, there's no gamepad anywhere. It'd be kind of weird to lump the Wii in, because like if the DS and the 3DS get its own separate section, then why wouldn't the Wii and Wii U? It'd be weird to lump the Wii U in with the Wii, even if the Wii was way more successful. So I'm sure, again, off screen somewhere there is a proper standalone expansive Wii U section where they have a floating gamepad, like they have floating controllers for everything else. I'm sure that exists, we just don't see it. Now, I am curious how they're getting this DS gameplay. My guess is they're getting this from, like, dev kits. They're obviously not going to be running, you know, Millen DS or anything like that. That'd be kind of funny if they were, but obviously they're not running any kind of emulation. This is probably from dev kits. That have the option to split up the screen, because, you know, some of these are like the top and bottom together, some of them are like the bottom on the side, and some on the other side. Like, they have them in different kind of configurations here depending on the game. Can I recognize any of the games from this distance, or is it too blurry? I don't think I can recognize any of the games from this distance. I think it's too blurry for me to be able to tell. Then we have the 3DS back there, of course. And then again, I've brought this up like 3 times already, but just for one last go around as we go through this one last time. Again, there's a blank spot here. Obviously, they're going to put, you know, Echoes of Wisdom and Mario Party Jamboree and Donkey Kong HD. Like, all of those games, like I'm sure that every first-party release on the Switch is in this section. And this is just space for the last couple of them. So obviously they'll put Prime 4 in there. Zeta A will go in there. They'll have the boxes for those. Can I recognize any of the boxes from right here? Or again, is it way too... Okay. This is Let's Go. That's Pikachu. That's Eevee. This is Mario Maker 2. Yes, I can actually recognize some of these, even with how blurry it is. Yeah, that's Mario Maker 2. And yeah, that's Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee. This, I think, is Legends Arceus. This is Xenoblade... I'm gonna say Xenoblade 2? I don't know why. It's definitely a Xenoblade. It's one of the Xenoblades, because they all have, like, the same style cover. I'm guessing it's either Definitive Edition... Actually, you know, that might be Definitive Edition. That's Metroid Dread. I can tell that's Metroid Dread, even with how low quality this is. That's Metroid Dread. This is Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. This is Mario Golf, maybe. This is Mario RPG. It's weird how much I can recognize these boxes, even with how low quality they are. Let's see. Where's Tears of the Kingdom? Oh, this is Tears of the Kingdom. It's got that teal. This is totally Tears of the Kingdom. Where's Smash? It's obviously in here, but can I recognize it, or is it going to be too low quality? Okay, no. Here's another Xenoblade. I think no. This might be Xenoblade 2, and then this is Definitive Edition, and then one of these is Xenoblade 3. I guess again, I'm doing my best here. Enhance, zoom, enhance. There's only so much I can look at here. And they don't give a close-up at any point in this Direct, by the way. They only give a close-up on the Famicom area, so we don't get to see a close-up of this at all. So I just have to go off of this image and just really try and pixel peep all, like, 5 pixels of these boxes to figure out what they are. I'm gonna say... Is this Three Hopes? Remember Three Hopes? That was like the Fire Emblem Three Houses, like spin-off Koei Tecmo thing. I think this might be Three Hopes. But the same, well, but then again, well, hold on a second. Let me take a step back here. These are probably in order of release, right? So I mean, Tears of the Kingdom is right here, and Mario RPG is right here, and these came out in 2023, right? And then this is Let's Go, and this is Let's Go, and this came out in 2018. And then this is Mario Maker 2, and this came out in 2019. So this is probably, 2017, 18. So it's probably all in order, which means that this has to be Xenoblade 2 because that was 2017. Oh, wait, where's? Can I see? Where's 2020? 2020. I cannot see either of the Splatoon boxes. I can't recognize either of them in here. Splatoon 3 should be somewhere in here. Maybe it's this one. I can't tell. Actually, no, this one might be Mario Strikers. This might be Mario Strikers. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Again, low quality boxes here. I think, is that 3D World plus Bowser's Fury? But that came out in 2021 though. That might be this one. I don't know. It's so hard to tell. But where the heck is the Smash of the Ultimates? It's gotta be one of these, right? If Let's Go is right here, then that must mean it's like one of these. Maybe it's this one? I don't know. I can't tell. There's only so much. The only ones I know for sure is that's Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. You can clearly see Pikachu, and that's clearly Eevee. That's Mario Maker 2. That's Tears of the Kingdom. That's Mario RPG. That's Metroid Dread. That's one of the. That's probably Xenoblade 3. That's Xenoblade Definitive Edition. That's Xenoblade 2. Is that one of these? Is probably Odyssey, and Breath of the Wild is like the launch title, right? So it's probably way off to the left, off screen. So I don't know. Those are the games I can recognize. Oh, hold on, wait. This is Game Builder Garage because it's got a completely yellow box. That's probably Game Builder Garage. That also came out in 2020, I think. So that would line up because if Dread's right here, then this is probably like 2020, 2021, I think is when that game came out. If you want to call it a game. I wonder if people are going to extrapolate out of this, like, well, hold on, if this is 2023, and this is 2024, and then this is 2025, then that must mean that the Switch 2 is coming out here because they have this much space left. I bet people are going to, like, extrapolate, like, a Switch 2 release date out of, like, how much free space there is for Switch stuff still. But, I mean, think about it. If this is 2023, and this is 2024, which they haven't put the boxes up for yet because the year isn't over, and then we have 2025, that makes sense because the Switch 2 is going to be coming out in 2025. So, but there's still going to be stuff coming out for the Switch in 2025. I mean, Z-A, 2025, Metroid Prime 4, 2025, Donkey Kong HD, that's 2025, and they'll probably will have a couple other things as well. So, if this is 2023, this is 2024, and this is 2025, then that all lines up. Because there's not going to be any room for 2026. Because the Switch will be done by that point. We'll be fully all in on Switch 2 at that point. But again, oh, I just realized something. Surely they have a space set out for the Switch 2, right? Like, again, it's off screen. We can't see it, but there's no way that they haven't designed this museum without the Switch 2 in mind. Because there must be a section off screen that's just completely empty and has nothing in it, and that's where the Switch 2 is going to be. When that comes out and they start adding stuff from that into that section, right? Because they have to have a section for it, obviously. So, that too. But anyway, so that's all the games I can recognize from this side, at least. Again, I'm sure they're all there. Every first-party game is in there somewhere. I just can't see all of them. Oh yeah, we got a bunch of like Joy-Con colors. We got some Pro controllers. We got like the steering wheel. We have some other accessories. We got this is all Amiibo. I can't recognize any of the individual Amiibo from right here, but this is all Amiibo, right? Clearly. Now, actually, that brings up a question because Amiibo are not tied to any one specific platform, really, right? I mean, Amiibo launched with Smash Wii U in November 2014, so they technically are a Wii U creation. I mean, yeah, they came to the 3DS shortly after with the new 3DS, as well as the adapter for older 3DSs that didn't have the Amiibo reader built in on the screen. But it was a Wii U 3DS era kind of thing, and then the Switch era just kind of inherited it. So, in the Wii U section that we haven't seen because it's clearly off screen, in that section, do they have like the Wii U era amiibo in there. Then they have this like is this all Switch era amiibo in the Switch section? So like for example, the original Smash 4 amiibo, right? From like 2014, 2015. Is that in this section? Or is that in the Wii U section that's off screen and this is only the Switch era amiibo? So like all of the Ultimate characters are in this section, but all the Smash 4 characters are in the other section. Obviously, we don't know because we can't see the Wii U section at all. Oh, and this is Labo, by the way. I just realized, yeah, this is Labo. This section in the middle, that's Labo. Again, it's part of their history, even though no one bought it. And people have practically forgotten it even came out. And by the way, the Labo might not even be compatible with the Switch 2. If the Switch 2 is like, if the Switch 2's physical size is bigger than the current Switch's, it might not even fit, which is kind of like the game cartridge for the Labo will work, obviously, but you won't be able to physically fit it, probably. I mean, oh no, I can't play Labo on the Switch 2. Yeah, I know, what a big loss. All 2 people that bought Labo is going to be missing out on that one, but in all seriousness, though. But anyways, enough with that. So, okay. Oh, I just realized a small detail. Mushroom. An old, like, 8-bit mushroom. That's all. Just something I noticed at the last second there. Okay, I think we really are done now. I don't think there's anything else I can possibly analyze from this. I think we've pretty much milked this 10-minute presentation dry at this point. Yeah, I've seen this picture before. This is like a famous picture, right? Like if you type in like, you know, like Nintendo like 1880s or whatever, this is probably the first picture that shows up. And you can see the creases where like the picture was clearly folded. Yeah. Yeah, we saw this already. Oh yeah, so notice that there's another NES way over here. You'll see it in a second. Yeah, this, right? So this is obviously the Famicom, this is the American NES, and this is probably the European PAL NES, because they had the boxes, because they had the boxes when they went over the NES games of like, here's the Japanese, American, and European boxes for the games, so that's clearly got to be the European console, even though it looks exactly the same, right? Like, it's the same design as the American one. You can tell that the box for it, like the box you get it with, is a little different. It's not drastically different, but you can see it has more blue than the one that we got here. Okay, I think I'm just going to do a quick little, just see if there's literally anything. I think I've pretty much covered everything at this point. So we're going to be wrapping this up, but I'm just seeing if there's something. Okay, you want a song that would be really cool? I really hope they have this in the Wii section. I hope they include the vitality sensor. Like, if they have, like, one of their old, like, units from, like, that E3 presentation laying around or whatever when they announced it, they should totally put that in, like, the Wii section as, like, a, hey, this was like an unreleased prototype or something, and never, you know, like that would be kind of cool, right? Like include unreleased stuff. That's something that Nintendo traditionally likes to hold on to a lot. Is they like to hold on to their unreleased stuff a lot. Like it'd be really cool if they would, for the first time ever, show us like, you know, like I don't know, Zelda or Earthbound like 64. I mean, okay, obviously we have that one trailer of Earthbound 64, but like it'd be cool if they like showed us like more of their unreleased stuff. Like, so it'd be cool if they had like a vitality sensor like in the Wii section, because they did announce that and it never came out. You know, that'd be kind of cool. I don't know. Doesn't have to be anything big. Just like have a little thing for it. Just have it on a little stand or whatever, and whatever. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. Just include the vitality sensor alongside all the other accessories. That'd be kind of cool. For people that know, you know. Yeah, what the heck is this? I have no idea what this is because they don't really show it. Okay, so let's see. Fast forward. Yeah, we looked at this already. Wait, hold on a second. This is kind of odd. I just realized this doesn't make any sense. So, this is the history of the Mario games, right? But you'll notice you'll notice how they have Super Mario World and they have the Super NES controller, right? Then they have Double Dash, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, and then Kirby Superstar. Why? What is the purpose of that being in this section? Same over here, right? Like Mario Kart DS, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and then we have Kirby 64, and then we have okay. On, I just figured it out. They have every Mario Kart game, but it's not in the right order. Like, shouldn't this be Super Mario Kart? This be Mario Kart? Like, because like this is supposed to be SNES, N64, GameCube, Wii. So why isn't it all? I mean, I know that the Pokemon stuff won't line up no matter what because that's on a handheld, but like, why isn't the Mario Karts in order? Like, why do we have Mario Kart DS in the N64 section, and Mario Kart Wii in the GameCube section, and Mario Kart 7 in the Wii section? It's like really weird. That feels really weird. Like, why is it laid out like that? What it should be is, you know, Super Mario Kart goes here, Mario Kart 64 goes here, and then, you know, Double Dash goes here, Mario Kart Wii goes here, because that would be consistent with this. With this, right, up here. But it's not. So it's weird. And then we have the Pokemon games thrown in for seemingly no reason. And again, because it's not, and it's even less consistent because those are on handhelds, which aren't even on this list. I get they want to have the history of like these franchises, but they're not done correctly. So it's kind of weird. Like, I mean, this is all correct. Like, again, you know, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, then Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, then Black and White, and then presumably X and Y is over there. But, like, again, it's really weird the way that they have that. It's not consistent with what's happening up here. Oh, never mind. I misspoke. I didn't realize they showed this section. Sun and Moon, so rip X and Y. I guess X and Y don't exist. I mean, they skipped over, like, you know, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, but those are remakes, so I get it. Those aren't as big of a deal. But, like, they skipped over X and Y. Poor X and Y. I mean, I never played X and Y. But I heard X and Y was kind of a whatever game. But, like, it's like, come on. Like, I mean, we get, you know, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Black and White, and then just skips X and Y, goes right to Sun and Moon, and then it goes to Sword and Shield. Also, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, not Mario Kart 8. For what that's worth. Although it is worth noting that all of these are 3DS games. This is Planet Robobot. So this is 3DS, and then these are all, because that's Kirby, like, Star Allies, I think. And then we have... Hold on. Go back. I saw there was one more section. Yeah, like this top part makes sense. This part down here makes no sense. It's completely inconsistent with like everything in multiple ways. Okay, pause. So we got Switch, Mario Odyssey. Wait a second, I just realized something. Go back. Why isn't the box art there? They have the box art for all the other games, but they don't put the box art for 3D World. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna add it later, because that's such an obvious omission. Also, they have these extra spots for games that aren't there yet. I mean, obviously the museum isn't open yet, and obviously they're gonna keep updating it. So obviously this is not set in stone. They're gonna keep updating it as time goes on. I'm sure they will fix this and put in the Wii U box art for 3D World, but it's just weird because, like, Odyssey has the box art. It's like, I don't know why there's no box art for 3D World. Oh, dang it, I got sidetracked because of that little box art thing. There was something else I wanted to look at. Okay, and... Okay, pause. Okay, so we have Mario Kart, like, Home Circuit. That, like, weird spin-off game with, like, the RC, like, controllers or whatever that, like, no one bought. And then we have... That's Kirby in the Forgotten Land. And then I'm guessing this is... I can't tell. It's so blurry. I don't know why that specific image is so blurry. You can't even tell what it is. I mean, okay, I can't pause at the right time because it's going by so fast. Hold on. Let's slow it down. Let's slow it down. Pause, okay? So, if we're going by the order here, right? So, this is all Kirby, and this is all Mario Kart. So, therefore, this must be a Pokemon game. But the logo is so blurry that you can't tell what game it is. My guess is that this is Scarlet and Violet. That's my guess, but I can't tell. The logo is so blurry. Like, you can clearly see the black and white logo, the Sun and Moon logo, even the Sword and Shield logo, because you can see the stadium in the background, but you can't tell. I didn't play Scarlet and Violet, so I don't really even know what the start screen for it looks like, but, like, I'm guessing that this is the Scarlet and Violet logo. It's just really hard to tell because of how blurry it is. Okay, hold on. Go back to normal speed. Okay. Yeah, we already went over this. We already went over that. We went over this. Okay, I think now we're actually for real done this time. Okay, that's it. Okay, we're done. We spent a long time going over that. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's neat. I think that was kind of neat. I really like that section, obviously, where they have all the systems and all the game boxes in order. I think that's really cool. I'm definitely gonna be whenever the museum opens and people actually get to go there and take screenshots, I definitely want to see, a nice high quality screenshot of that entire area, just like I want to be able to see up close every little thing they have in there. So yeah, that would be pretty cool to, because obviously people are gonna put up tons of videos, going there when it opens. So when does it open again? October 2nd. Okay, so it opens October 2nd. Which is kind of an interesting date in a way. Doesn't mean anything necessarily, it's just kind of an interesting date for some reason to me. Alrighty then, that's going to be it for me. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you 300IQ Wizard for popping in earlier. Thank you Antonio for popping in. And of course, thank you to anyone that joined in and just didn't say anything or is watching this after the fact. Thank you for watching as well. And yeah, so what's going to be the next stream? Probably a Smash stream or something like that. I don't know. I mean, the only other thing that would really be, I guess, would be like, well, actually, hold on. I believe there is a Gamescom stream happening soon, but I'm not sure if I'm going to bother with that because Gamescom traditionally has never really been a place that has big reveals, at least in my time. So I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. We'll see. But the next actual stream, yeah, it will probably be a Smash stream or something like that. Something, low-key chill. Something like that. I had a lot of fun with the last Smash stream we did. But, yeah, we'll see. And, yeah, in terms of videos, I mean... Again, I know I'm a broken record at this point, but I don't really have much stuff for videos right now. I mean, obviously, everyone knows at this point. If you've been watching this channel for the last 2 years, you're very, very comfortable and very, very aware with the fact that I just drag my feet with putting out new videos, and I apologize. I really do, because I know I need to do more videos. But it's just the drive to actually make them. It's just not that high for me. Which should be very obvious by the fact that I haven't really done a proper video in 2 years. I mean, I've done discussions, I've done some like shorts in the meantime, but I haven't done a full proper mainline video in 2 years. And the Switch 2 was gonna be one of those videos. I was gonna be like kind of the comeback of like, hey, we're back, we're doing actual videos again. And that still hasn't happened. And obviously the longer time goes by, we're just gonna be waiting and waiting and waiting for the longer time goes by, the less and less reason there is to make one, because we'll be closer and closer to the Switch 2 actually getting announced. And obviously once it gets announced, then there's not much of a point making a video on it. Well, okay, at least a predictions video. Now, obviously, our thoughts on the Switch 2 reveal type video. That might be a thing, because when the Switch came out when the Switch was first announced in 2016, me and Ender, who I haven't talked to in a really long time, but he used to be like a Yokai Watch. He used to be from like the Yokai Watch era back when I was into that back in the day. He's from like that community from back in the day. I haven't talked to him on a regular basis in a really long time, but he used to be on the Nincast back in the day, and he actually was a part of a 2-part discussion video we did on the Switch's reveal when it first was revealed. So I don't know, maybe we'll do something like that. I mean, it won't be a 2-parter. I think we're beyond doing 2-parters for something like that at this point. It would probably be like a 30 to 45 minute video at most. But, maybe me and Ethan we'll talk about the Switch 2 after it gets announced. I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah, in terms of videos, I know I say this every time, but I have ideas for videos. I'm always thinking of ideas for videos, and I genuinely mean that. I'm not just saying that. I always am thinking about the channel literally every day. I think about new ideas all the time. It's just a matter of, yeah, that sounds cool. That'd be a cool video to make, but do I actually want to go through the effort of making it? And as you have seen over the last 2 years, most of the time that answer is no. But I have also been thinking, hey, if I'm not going to make mainline videos, I should at least do something, right? That's not just the reaction streams, because I feel like the channel is just turned into reaction streams. Every time a direct comes out or a big event comes out, we watch it, and that's about it for the most part. But it's like, if I'm not going to do mainline videos, then I should at least do something, like maybe do more shorts. Because I've done a couple of shorts. I did that Mario Kart short when the Booster Course Pass was first announced, and that did well. I did a short about the Switch 2, ironically. That was like, the Switch 2 is going to be out in 2024 because the Tegra X1 is going to run out of stock by then because of NVIDIA discontinuity. That whole thing is probably going to age like milk. It hasn't technically aged like milk just yet, but it's probably going to age like milk. But hey, you win some, you lose some. I guess I was wrong on that prediction, because I mean, at this point, everyone's expecting this thing to come out in 2025. Everyone. Because if it was coming out this year, we would know about it. It's August. It's the middle of August. If it was coming out this year, we would know. It's not. And we all know it's not. That dream died a few months ago, if we're being honest at this point. But yeah, I don't know. More shorts, though. Oh, yeah, and I did that short on the Live Gamer 4K 2.1 that no one watched. I knew no one was going to watch it, but I thought that was actually a well-produced short. I think that was probably my best produced short so far in terms of editing, where I was messing with some new plugins and stuff. I thought it looked pretty good, but I know it was a very niche topic, admittedly, so no one really watched it. But if you're in the capture cards, though, and you haven't seen that short, then I suggest you go watch it. But if you're not in the capture cards, you're not really going to care about it. It's basically just me talking about how, like, the Live Gamer 4K 2.1 is, like, a disappointing product because it's, like, worse than the original Live Gamer 4K in a couple of ways, and that's really annoying. It's a short. It's like a minute long. It doesn't take that long to watch. But anyway, that's a whole other thing for another time. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I should do more shorts, because shorts, by their inherent nature, are only like a minute long, right? So that's a lot easier for me to actually work up the mustard to actually make than like a proper like 10, 15-minute video, right? With actual editing. Or even a discussion video for that matter. Just the fact that it's 1 minute long makes it easier for me to actually want to make one, but then it has to be about a topic that would fit in a 1 minute time frame and not feel like I'm leaving anything out. So shorts have their pros and cons, I'm not against shorts. I used to be kind of against them when they first came out. I'll admit that, but as time has gone on, I've warmed up to them. I don't watch shorts actively. I mean, I look at shorts sometimes, mostly from channels I'm already watching. Like, I don't use the TikTok style, like, here's like a billion random... I don't use that at all. I don't use the shorts tab at all. Or, sorry, the shorts button that just gives you, like, a random feed. I don't use that at all. But, like, if a channel I'm already subscribed to, if they put out a short, I'll watch it. That's how I engage with shorts. I treat shorts as YouTube videos, not a TikTok random scroll feed like it's in quote unquote intended to be or whatever. I treat them as videos, not TikTok, if that makes any sense. But So yeah, I don't know, maybe I could do some more shorts in the meantime. Maybe I could finally get a discussion video out. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have much planned for the, you know, short term at least. Again, maybe we'll do a Smash stream. We'll see. But yeah. So anyway, enough of me droning on now. Again, thank you for sticking here. God, I'm screwing up so badly right now because I've been talking too long. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And with that being said, this is Logan59XP, and I'll see you guys next time.